All right, 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 all right. How is everybody doing today? So glad to have you join me here today. Thank you so much for being here. Wow, it's 4 o'clock. We're about to kick it off. Thank you all so much. If you know someone that needs to be here right now, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to just reach out to them right now, send a text. I don't know if you can do it while you're still in here, but we're just going to take a few minutes, let a couple of people jump in. All right, just do me a favor. Let me know you can hear me in the chat. Just let me know. Just type in a yes, I can hear you. Just let me know you can hear me and you can see my screen. Just let me know, please. Anybody, I just need one person. That's it. I just need one person. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I see you, PMT and PSA. Appreciate you all for being here. Thank you so much for spending time with me this afternoon. I see more people jumping in. So we're just going to take, just a few minutes to allow a few more people to jump in, and then we will get started. I'm so glad that you are here today. Thank you for joining me. For those of you joining for the first time, thank you for being here. And those that keep coming back every single month, thank you for investing this time with me. I'm so glad that you are here. Well, in case you don't know, my name is Tolu Areola, and I want to thank you for joining me this evening, for investing this time with me. And it's my privilege to spend, the next 30, 40 minutes with you, 45 minutes with you, speaking on a topic that has changed my life. Speaking on a topic that I love and enjoy to talk about, and I'm so passionate about, because I believe that it's the key to everything else. It's the topic of personal growth and development. So thank you so much for being here. I personally believe that your survival and your thriving in life and in business and in whatever you do, both are tied to your personal growth and development. And I want to say thank you so much for choosing this time and choosing to spend your time with me. Again, like I said, my name is Tolu Areola. Everybody calls me the Empowered Life Coach. Why the Empowered Life? Why not just a life coach? Well, Empowered Life is different from just regular life, because God didn't call you to live a regular life. He called you to live an empowered life. And that's what I am about. So thank you so much for being here. Well, why do we do this? I always like to start with why. We do this because I want to add value to you. I want to help you succeed. I want to inspire and motivate you so you can be all you can be, because that's really what you're designed for. All right. And a lot of people go through their life never, ever, ever, ever getting to that. And that's why we do this. And I also want to challenge you to grow, because I have finally discovered that everything that you want in life is on the other side of your growth. That's it, right? Whatever it is you want in life, in business, in your career, in your family, in whatever that you want, it's all tied and to your growth. And that's why we do this. And who is this for? Well, my target of the audience is pretty simple, right? I target those that are growth-minded, bottom line, growth-minded solopreneurs, small to mid-sized business owners, business professionals, aspiring leaders. If you are just a lover of success and you have a growth mindset, well, you are where you're supposed to be. And I thank you so much for being here. Now, I believe that you will agree with me that every one of you, I love to emphasize that you are special and you are unique. Never, ever forget that. And I know you agree with me that you're special and you're unique. Why? Because that's how you're designed. And if you believe with me that every one of us want to thrive in life, want to thrive in our businesses, we want to be our very best. But if I were to ask the question right now, are you actually experiencing that right now? Are you at your fullest capacity and your fullest potential right now? Of course, nobody's going to say that that's where they're at. Why? Because we all believe that we have room to grow. The biggest room in the whole world is the room to grow. I know I have room to grow, right? You have the room to grow. And if you want to thrive tomorrow than you do today, then growing yourself daily is the key. It guarantees that you will be thriving better than you are the day before. So I know definitely you are in the right place. Now, before we get started into today's topic, all right, we're talking about unstoppable, what it takes to survive and thrive. Before we dive into that topic, 30 to 45 minutes is not enough time for us to do a deep dive into all the facets of what we're going to be discussing today. So I want to give you two guarantees. One, by the end of today's session, you will have enough to start working with right now. I guarantee you that, point blank. Now, the second guarantee is that by the end of today's meeting, I will give you an opportunity to take a deeper dive, especially for those that want tangible results, those that are not dabblers, those that are serious-minded, right? That they want measurable outcomes. All right. I'll give you an opportunity to jump into one of our groups where we hold your hand through the whole process, all right? Where we apply, everything that we share today to achieve your results. All right. So does that sound fair enough? All right, fair enough. We're gonna do that. So today we're talking about what I've titled Unstoppable, what it takes to survive and thrive. And I start with the story of a man that you probably have heard about, all right? This man began his life with amassing everything. I mean, he had everything going for him. He had a great life, a great family. In fact, he had a great business, he was a great entrepreneur. In fact, at the time, they said he was the richest man on the planet. And then something happened to him that changed everything. He found himself in the survival mode. And he made this amazing statement that I think it's very instructive for what we're going to be looking at briefly. He said, there's hope for a tree. If it's cut down, it will sprout again. And if its shoot will not die. He said, if its root grows old in the ground, its stump starts to die in the soil. He said, but the smell of water makes it thrive and produce twigs like a sapling. That's the man Job that made that statement. He said that, look, listen, even if a tree dies, right? And all of those roots and everything seems to be drying up. He said, but at the smell of water, at the scent of water, he said it will thrive again. It will produce again. And that's really instructive for us because for many of us, this last year and much of this year, right? Last year and much of this year has been spent in survival mode, right? And the truth of the matter is that it's not God's plan for you to be and remain in survival mode. And as this year ends and as we cross into the new year, he wants you to thrive. And that's my key point for you today. He wants you to thrive. You are meant to do more than just survive. You are meant to thrive. You must know that. You must embrace that. You are meant to do more than just survive. You are meant to thrive. A lot of people are just surviving right now. Now, there are fundamental differences between surviving and thriving. We know that. Surviving means for you to simply manage to continue to live and to exist and to stay alive. But thriving is different. Thriving means for you to grow vigorously and develop well. Thriving means for you to prosper and to flourish. That's what it is, to grow vigorously and develop well, to prosper, to flourish, to keep getting ahead. That's the truth. That's what thriving is all about. Now, I'm not saying that you won't face challenges. In fact, challenges are guaranteed in life. Challenges in life are a guarantee. In fact, if you don't factor in challenges, you'll be grossly disappointed. I say that all the time. If you don't factor in challenges, you'll be grossly disappointed. Because, listen, challenges are those things that, whether you like it or not, they come. They come. That's why I said if you don't factor it into your equation of how you go through your day-to-day life, you'll be disappointed. And I think that this lack of factoring it in is the main reason many people find themselves in survival mode and the main reason why they stay there. I mean, for example, I was talking to someone the other day and he said they don't bother to listen to the airplane attendants when they tell how, to button up and to use the cushion as a flotation device, in the event anything happens. He said they don't bother to listen. I mean, can you imagine how many people, if they're like that guy, how many people will survive if something actually did happen, right? I mean, talk less of even thriving. How many will survive if the plane went down? Now, I tell him that, look, I listen, and I listen well because look, I'm not anticipating that the plane will go down. But here's the point, right? Nobody knows. But in the event that it happens, I can survive and I can thrive. But the key is this: you have to factor in those things. Even Jesus said it. He said, look, while you're in this world, you have to factor in challenges. There are always going to be challenges. So it's very, very key we understand that. Now, there are also many that claim that, hey, I have the goal of thriving, but instead they are just surviving. But here's the good news, and I want you to hear this and hear it clearly. The good news is that you can thrive in every aspect of your life. You can. You can thrive in every aspect of your life. If I had to give you a simple roadmap on how to move from survival mode to thriving mode, right? If I had to give you, I will give you three things, and that's what I want to share with you briefly today. And then, then I'll share a few things for you at the end. If I had to give you three things, if I had to tell you three simple things that to move you from survival mode to thriving, I will tell you three things. The first thing I will tell you is, one, for you to trust. For you to trust. Now, I'm a person of faith, right? I'm putting my pastor hat on now. I know some of you that have been here, you might not be followers of Christ, but listen, this will help you. This will help you. All right, this will help you. I will tell you to trust in the Lord. You see, when you're in survival mode, you really don't know how to get out. So it will be absurd for you to trust in your own wisdom and your own judgment and your own know-how. It will be absurd for you to do that. But I love what the man King David said, a very profound statement. He said, trust in the Lord and not in your own judgment. Whenever you're in survival mode, trust in the Lord, not in your own judgment, right? With all due respect, you're not as smart as you think you are, right? Trust in the Lord, not in your own judgment. Let him lead you and he will clear the road for you to follow. That's beautiful. He will clear the road and all you got to do is follow. But you got to trust. Now, this is so important because sometimes we have trouble trusting, right? We feel we can survive on our own. We feel we can figure things out ourselves. So we try to hold on to our own challenges. But listen, if you can trust, he promises to help you. He promises to clear the road and all you got to do is follow. It's as simple as that. Now, something happens when you trust. Right? First, you're filled with courage. I love that. You're filled with courage. In other words, fear can't stop you anymore. Remember, if you remove fear, courage loses its definition. So, am I saying fear will not be there? Fear will always be there. Like I always say, right? Fear is not really real. It's how you interpret fear that really stops you. Fear actually indicates that you're in the right path. But you are filled with courage. It means that you know how to handle this thing, right? You will know that you have help and you're not helpless. That happens when you trust. Second thing that happens when you trust is that you are empowered, right? You have this, unseen force, right? Where you now know exactly what to do and the steps you have to take. When you trust, I love this third one, you are filled with joy and peace. This joy and peace is what will keep you going, right? Keep fueling you, keep propelling you out of survival mode into thriving mode. It's very, very key to understand that. So if I had to tell you something, I would tell you to trust. The second thing I'll tell you to do is for you to be honest. It's for you to be honest. For you to thrive, you must be honest. And you must be honest in a couple of ways. First, you must be honest with yourself. A lot of us are not honest with ourselves. You need to admit to yourself that you're struggling and you need help. It's amazing. I deal with people all the time, and it's amazing how a lot of people refuse to admit that they're struggling and they need help. Everybody wants to figure it out themselves, right? Admitting to yourself that you are in survival mode is the first step to thriving. It's important you understand that. If you don't admit to yourself, right, you won't take the first step to even getting towards getting out of survival mode. And another thing you must do is you must be honest with those that are closest to you. You must be honest with those that are closest to you. We all tend to, put on our big boy pants and our big girl pants when we are struggling. We don't want to be vulnerable because we fear being judged. We fear being hurt, right? If we tell others that we're in survival mode. But what you don't realize is that those people around you might be the ones that have the insight, that have the encouragement, that have the solution that you need to get out of your mess. It's okay for you to be vulnerable. It's okay for you to share with your closest allies that, hey, I need help. I mean, I learned this from Jesus Christ himself. Can you imagine? The Savior of the whole world, God incarnate in human flesh. He was vulnerable, right? When it was time for him to face that cross, he got his closest buddies together, Peter, James, and John. And he said, hey guys, look, I am really, really distressed. I'm really, really in a not so good place right now. Can you please go with me and let's hang out together while I deal with this? It's all right there in scripture. Mark 14, 33, 35. I mean, Jesus was so vulnerable. He told his closest friends that, hey, I need your help in going through this thing. I'm not really where I need to be right now. He said, in fact, the word used was, I'm sorrowful. Can you imagine that? How many of our leaders can be vulnerable today? But guess what? Vulnerability is not weakness. It is strength. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is strength. You must be honest and admit that you need help and get that you can't get unstuck on your own. It's about being authentic, right? Authenticity frees you to admit that, hey, I'm far from being perfect. I really need help right now. And then you will find out that the people, the places, the resources that you need will now begin to flow your direction. But it starts with you, right? Admitting that you need help. And not only that, admitting that you need help. In fact, you need to find out, right, how deep in the hole that you're in. You need to find out whether, you're even on the surface in the survival mode or in the bottom, or even if you're in survival mode at all. And there are plenty of signs that tell you that you're in survival mode, right? Let me show you a few of them. Plenty of signs. One, like if everything is urgent around you, right? You run around like a headless chicken, like drowning in everyday tasks, right? Everything, the deadline must be now. You're in survival mode. You're in survival mode. Right? Your stress is overwhelming. You stress so high, you feel like you will snap in a moment. You're in survival mode. Your memory, right, is poor. Your concentration level is poor. You're in survival mode. Right? You don't eat properly. Right? Your diet is like out of whack. You're in survival mode. You find it hard to sleep. Right? Your sleep is disrupted. You don't sleep very well. You're in survival mode. I'm sorry. It's just the signs, right? Or what about this? You choose the path of least resistance, right? You're doing what you can just to get through the day. You're in survival mode. You're usually reactive rather than proactive, right? You don't think into things before then. It's when they happen that you're always reacting. You are in survival mode. What about this? You don't take responsibility. You blame circumstances. You blame others. You find excuses. It's always the devil. It's always somebody else. Especially when things go wrong, you're in survival mode. Right? You rush around like crazy, but never get caught up. You're in survival mode. Now, I'm not judging you. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Right? You're always tired and have low energy levels. You're in survival mode. You don't speak your mind because you're afraid others might disagree with you. You're in survival mode. You don't listen to hear. You listen to respond. You listen to answer. You're in survival mode. You see failure as a result of things gone wrong. You're in survival mode. Oh, what about this, right? The kicker. You have a fear of change. Change scares you. You are in survival mode. Now, listen, if you have any of these signs, right, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself and just call it out. I need help. Or you find somebody that you trust and tell them, I need help. You see, that's why I offer coaching. That's why coaching is so powerful, right? It's when you can get vulnerable and you can get guided out of being stuck. You see, coaching and mentoring are two different things. When I'm mentoring you, I'm telling you things based on my experience, based on my knowledge base, right? Based on what I know. But I'm not a specialist in your life. You're the one that knows how stuck you are. But coaching is different. Coaching forces you to be vulnerable, right? And forces you to unlock yourself, forces you to face your fears, your challenges. Where we sit down, we ask you deep, open-ended questions that forces you to think deep and pull out that which is already inside of you. That's the difference. And you get I'll give you that opportunity at the end of this teaching. But here's the key. Here's the key. If you have any of this, you've got to be honest with yourself. Or you have to be honest with those closest to you. And of course, lastly, if you had to add one more, you also have to be honest with God, right? You have to admit to him that you need his help and his intervention. Has he ever occurred to you that nothing that happens to you is a surprise to him? But if you don't come out and say, I need help, he does nothing. A good example, he was walking right on the water, and his friends and his disciples were struggling, right? And scripture tells us that he was going to walk past them, was literally going to just keep walking. It was until they called out to him before he came in to help them. So if you're not honest with God that you need his help and you need his intervention, he does nothing. But guess what? He's always there to send you help. And sometimes I've realized that this help can be disguised as a webinar just like this. It can be disguised as a conference or a training or a coaching relationship. It can even be disguised as a challenge. But the key is this: when you are honest, then you are taking the steps to get out of survival mode and to get into thriving mode. And that leads me to the third thing I'll tell you if I had a chance, right? To sit down with you one-on-one. I will tell you that to thrive, you have to invest. You have to invest. By invest, I mean you have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in yourself, especially in your mindset. Especially in your mindset. You see, what keeps you in survival mode is having a fixed mindset, a mindset that is not flexible. You see, with a fixed mindset, you stay stuck in survival mode. However, when you invest in yourself to develop a growth mindset, you begin to thrive. I have discovered that it has been my incredible journey. And the reason why I've been on the crusade telling and shouting it on the mountaintops is because I finally discovered it. And everyone that you can call successful today will tell you exactly that. The moment you have the shift in mindset, everything begins to change for you. Because with a growth mindset, you are up for the challenge. With a growth mindset, you look for new opportunities and different ways to tackle the challenges that you're facing, which opens up your mind to a whole new world of possibilities. To you, impossible will be nothing. Why? Because your mindset is flexible. Your mindset is not fixed. It's growing. Now, let me say this. Moving from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset is not as easy as I'm saying it. It's not as easy as it sounds, right? Sometimes it's warfare. Sometimes it's hard because you've been doing something a certain way all your life. You've been doing something a certain way, right? All your adult life. So it can be warfare. It can be painful, especially because of the bad experiences that got you in survival mode. However, if you invest in yourself and you learn to grow your mindset, you learn to apply the law of pain. I love that law, right? The law of pain, for example. When you grow and learn that, you will begin to thrive. You know, that law says that the good management of bad experiences lead to great growth. The good management of bad experiences lead to great growth. They lead to great growth, and they are necessary for you to thrive when you can learn to manage them. Remember, we said to thrive is to grow vigorously, right? So it's very crucial that you learn, especially this way of living, because pain is something we naturally avoid, right? We've been told that comfort is the place to be. And I keep saying it time and time again. A lot of us are incarcerated in our comfort zones. But this law says that it's about teaching you to turn your bad experiences into positive steps that will lead you to your thriving, right? It's about how you handle how you are in the survival mode. It's how you handle these painful moments. It's how you handle, this bad experiences, these bad moments. It's how you handle it that affects your growth and how much you thrive. Oh, yeah. You see, some people's attitude when it comes to painful experiences, their attitude is to avoid them, right? How many people do we know that are like that, right? Their attitude is to avoid them. But you know that's not possible. No matter who you are, no matter where you live, no matter what you do, no matter what your background is, you have to deal with your bad experiences. You have to deal with your challenges. So some people try to avoid it. Some do very little that they can do to deal with them. But you have to be realistic about your expectations, right? When it comes to pain and challenges, just doing little can get you by, right? Because you can't avoid it. But yet, there are others who embrace them, right? And this is where I want you to be. This last group is where you want to be. You want to be those who embrace challenges. These are the people, these are the leaders, these are those who choose to learn from the different experiences they've gone through and use them to grow and use them to thrive. That's the key. That's where you want to be. Very important. Because, someone said it and I agree with him so much. He said success in life comes not from holding a good hand, right? Talking about playing cards, but playing a poor hand well. So powerful. Success in life comes not from holding a good hand, but in playing a poor hand well. You see, let me share with you my story. Something happened to me 2007, 2008. I met a young man who he had a brilliant idea, and I love him. And he came to me because he needed help. And for those of you that know me, I really, really love to help people. I love to help people. And he shared this idea, this great idea that he had and all that. I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and help you. The only problem he had, just like everybody else, he had a money problem, right? He didn't know how to get this idea off the ground. And his idea was to buy high-end vehicles, right? Fix them up and charge twice the price for the elite who will be buying this. But he had no credit, no finances, nothing. So he comes to me and he says that, please, can I help him? All right, no problem, I'll do that. I said, but I'm not doing anything to run that business because I don't know anything about that space. So anyways, I became the face of the business, put down my cash, put down my credit and everything. And then comes 2018, 2019. No, 2008, 2009, where we had the car crash, right? Where the whole thing went south. Same thing, right? This guy's business went down. And he had a couple of inventory that was out that he just could not get rid of. And instead of him telling me that, this was what was going on, he decided to skip town. And then I found myself, right? To cut the long story short, I found myself in a $120,000 debt. I had 2 lawsuits, right? I was served 2 lawsuits. I had to appear and stuff. And I mean, it was really, really a bad hand that I was dealt, right? Because I didn't get into this by any fault of myself. It was just this guy I was trying to help. But listen, I could have cried about it. I said, well, it was his own fault and not mine. But what did I do? I decided to play that poor hand very well, right? It almost wrecked me, almost wrecked my marriage. But I went back. I decided that, listen, this happened because I was financially illiterate. I went and I did everything to educate myself. I took courses, I signed up, I got coaching, right? And everything turned around for me. To cut the long story short, right? Today, I'm out of debt. Today, I even help people get out of debt. In fact, I'm a certified financial master coach, getting people out of debt. I even went further. Now I even help businesses get out of debt because I connected with a couple of people and we developed a proprietary profit acceleration software that actually helps business owners, get out of debt and get, and increase their revenue. Why? All of that took place because I learned to manage that bad experience, right? I managed that pain file. So the question is, what is your pain file? What is your pain file keeping you in survival mode? Is it the pain of indebtedness like I was? Is it the pain of incompetence? Is it the pain of disappointment, of lack, of loss, of a bad health? Is it the pain of change? Listen, just because we have this pain, these pain files in our lives does not mean that we should ignore them. No, we keep them so we can remember and look back on them, to refer to them and learn and grow from our experiences. I just shared my story with you. You can learn from it. Here's the point. You can turn your pain into gain by investing in yourself. That's the bottom line. I invested in myself and I was able to turn that financial pain around for myself. And I'm telling you, where I am today financially and where I was 2009, it's night and day, all because I managed that bad experience very well. So how do you invest in yourself? Because that's what I did. I invested in my mindset. I knew I had to admit that, hey, listen, I'm not as smart as I thought I was. I didn't know anything about finances that I thought I did. And I had to grow myself. I had to get, connected with the right relationship. I got coaching and I changed my story, right? So how do you invest in yourself? How do you invest in your mindset? How do you turn your pain into gain? It's really simple, really, right? I said simple, not easy. It's simple. I didn't say it was easy, but it's a choice. Honestly, it's really that. It's a choice. If you want your bad experience, in survival mode to keep you not only from doing the same silly thing over and over again, but you want to be led into a significant growth while you're thriving, it's simply making a firm decision. That's it. It's making a decision. It's making a decision to one, right? For you to make a decision to choose a positive life stance. Decide to choose a positive life stance. You see, a life stance is what describes your overall frame of reference to life, right? Your attitudes, your assumptions, your expectations about people, about the world in general, right? Like for example, when it comes to money, when it comes to health, when it comes to to situation and circumstances. That's what your life stance is. So choosing a positive life stance is, by this, I mean that you must always look through the lens of positivity. You must always look for the positive lessons in every circumstance, in every experience. You see, there is always something positive, but you may not see it when that bad experience is happening, especially if you're not a positive person, because how you see things, right, is really how you are. You see things not as they are, but as you are. So if you're an ant in your mindset, you will see a molehill as a mountain, because that's how you are, right? But all of this has to do with you choosing. It's a decision. See, there are two things you have to do in this life. I don't care who you are. Two things you have to do. And you can quote me anywhere. One, you have to die. Everybody's going to die. I'm sorry. You're going to die. I'm going to die. I don't want to be grim here, but that's just the reality, right? It's a leveler. It has no respect for anybody. Everybody's going to die. I'll die. You're going to die. Everybody's going to die, right? It's an appointment everybody has to keep, right? You can't skip it just because you're dandy. No, everybody has got to do that. That's one. The second thing you got to do is you have to make decisions. You have to make decisions. Oh, well, PT, well, I'm going to decide not to make a decision. Well, that's already a decision. But listen, here's my point. When you live your life with a positive life stance, you find that the good will become better and that the bad is not really as bad as it seems at the moment. But to really do this, you have to be mentally alert. You have to be creative in your mindset. You have to develop your creativity. Your mind has to be, I call it opening your mind and challenging yourself that what good can I find in this bad, right? I was saying, I was speaking somewhere on Friday and I was telling them that no matter how dark the clouds are and it's stormy and a hurricane is coming, right? The sun is still shining behind it. The sun is shining behind it. And that's the truth. So no matter the weather, you bring your own sunshine. You just have to find a way of being positive about it. I love, one of the people that has an amazing growth mindset is my mentor, John C. Maxwell, right? He wrote this statement and I want us to read it together. It's very powerful. It gives you the challenge to always choose to be positive, right? He said, life is filled with good and bad. He said, some of the good and bad I cannot control. That's life. Isn't that true? Right? There's just some things you can't control. He said some of the good and bad will find me. He said, if I have a positive stance, the good and the bad will become better, not before better, become better. He said, if I have a negative life stance, the good and bad will become worse. And I said, therefore, I love that. Therefore, I choose a positive life stance. It's something you have to choose. It's something you have to choose. You have to be intentional about it. That's the key. So I don't want it to be lost in translation, because God's part is always going to be fixed, right? You are always the variable. And if you don't choose a positive life stance, it's going to be hard for you to go from survival mode even to thriving mode. Very important. Second thing you have to decide and choose to do, you have to decide to embrace the value of your bad experiences. Listen, the truth is this, right? And again, being realistic, right? Sometimes it's difficult to meet bad experiences, in the moment they happen with a growth mindset, because everything, right? It's like the whole sky is falling. Like when it happened to me, it was like, I just could not think. But here's the key, right? For you to really, really, really do it, you have to choose that you always embrace the value and learn from what has happened to you. What can I learn? That's the question you must always keep asking. Because listen, you have a choice. You have the choice of facing the difficulty, right? Or running from it, right? Because we know facing the difficulty is inevitable, but learning from them, right? It's a choice. It's a choice. You have to choose to learn from them, right? You can look back at your life, look back at your bad experience and see them as the setback or the sunset of your life, or you can choose to learn from them. Now, whether you learn is based on if you understand that the challenges that you are facing, they actually present opportunities for you, opportunities to learn, and then you treat them accordingly, right? You have the attitude that, look, listen, I know it's a bad experience. I know it's a challenging experience, but there's something here for me to learn. Because think of it, where there's no struggle, there's no progress. But the key is this, you've got to know that, hey, there's something in here that I need to learn. So you need to embrace the discomfort and then you learn from it. So let your mentality be, I never lose, right? I always win. I always win, or I always learn, but I never lose, right? It's a choice and it's a mindset that you have to develop. And then lastly, you decide to make good changes after you have learned from your bad experiences. Here's the key. Here's the kicker. You now have to make the change. So not only do you decide to be positive, right? Not only do you decide to learn, here's where everybody has their one challenge, is to make the change now that you have learned. And that's a challenge for everybody. We all know what to do. We all know what we've learned. But why is it so hard to make the change? James Baldwin said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. That's it. You've got to face it and then you have to make the change. You've got to face it and then you have to make the change. You see, sometimes it takes a challenging experience for us to face the changes we need to make in our lives. Well, I know this to be true because for me, when my best friend died 3 years ago, it made me face the fact that I needed to change the way I lived my life and the way I took my health, right? It gave me a paradigm shift and I said, no, I got to change. Prayer is not enough because we prayed, man, we prayed. I mean, in fact, we prayed every day. We prayed noon every day and then twice on Friday. We prayed, but that's not enough. Making the good changes is the key, right? It's not enough for you to be positive. It's not enough for you to learn. Now you have to make the change. Because think of it, what happens to us is rarely the end of the road, right? I always say the bend in the road is not the end of the road unless you don't make the turn. But the key is until you change, nothing changes. And change is not change until you have changed. That's it. So the next time you're faced with a bad experience, right, remind yourself that, listen, I'm at the cups of change. I'm at the cups of making a change. I've got to do this. Because bad experiences, right, they create strong emotional feelings within us. And we either face, right, the feelings, like these emotions, and try to change, or we try to escape, right? Is that old fight or flight instinct that we have, right? Something happens that I want to run or we want to fight. But what you have to do is to train yourself to fight for positive changes, right? So whether you do fight or you flee, it depends on how you react to your experience. That's the whole point. So you check your emotions and you use them as a catalyst for your growth and your thriving. You think through how you need to change, and then you make sure you're making good choices, and then you're acting on them. That's the key, because this is where growth and thriving manifests. It manifests when you take action. That's why we say that thriving requires action. Thriving requires action. If you've not been acting, right, when those challenging experiences happen to you, then you simply have been avoiding. You've been one of those that have been running from it. So don't let another painful experience go by without learning from it, without acting and growing from it, so that you can thrive, right? Choose a positive life stance. Embrace the value Above all, you want to make the good changes. You want to act on it. And then you will see that you start thriving. So let me wrap up by saying this. If you're going to go from survival mode to thriving, here's what I want you to take with you. You must take responsibility for your life and for the choices that you make. It's your responsibility. It's yours and nobody else's. You must take responsibility for your life and for the choices you make. Avoid that label of victim and you take responsibility. Stop blaming everybody else. Stop blaming your status. Stop blaming your financial status, your marital status, your immigration status, so your social status. Stop blaming all of that. You take responsibility for moving forward and thriving. It's your responsibility. I tell people all the time, especially those that migrated into this country, that they're doing everything just to get their green cards or their blue passports. I said, that doesn't define if you're going to make it. What defines if you're going to make it is if you're going to take responsibility, because there are people that are born and bred here, right, that live under the bridge. But if you take responsibility for moving forward and for thriving, you will find that impossible is nothing, because it's impossible for you to grow and thrive in any significant way when you don't take responsibility for yourself and for your life. It's not anybody else's responsibility. It's yours. It's yours. And I want you to hold on to it, because the vast majority, especially those that are in body of Christ too, we don't take responsibility. We all are in this do it Jesus ministry. He said he's done it. Now you got to take responsibility. So no matter what you've gone through in your life, and no matter what you're going through right now, you can grow and you can thrive. That's the truth. Take that to the bank. But unless you take responsibility, nothing changes. The opportunity to grow and the opportunity to thrive is always there. The question is, are you going to take the opportunity? Are you going to take the responsibility? Remember, we say this all the time. If you do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always gotten. It's as simple as that. Wisdom should tell you that I got to change something, right? I got to change something. If you want to arrive in a new destination, you need to take a different path. It's as simple as that. Take a different path. Take responsibility, and you'll find that you'll be thriving and you'll be soaring. All right? Hope that has helped you a little bit. So I guarantee you that you will have what it takes to start now. So do this exercise. I do it all the time. Take some time to think into your last 3 to 5 challenging experiences that you've had, right? Especially the ones that have put you in survival mode. And then write down each experience and what you learned from each of them, if anything, right? Remember, we said that it's not experience that is the best teacher. It's evaluated experience that is the best teacher. So you have to write down and evaluate, right? What have I learned from this, right? That's the key. Evaluate whether you decided to make a change based on what you have learned. And then you rate yourself. Rate yourself A to F on how well you implemented those changes in your life. Now, if you find out that you are an A or a B student, right? You rate yourself an A or a B, then you're on your way to thriving. Anything less, C, D, or F, anything less, you need to become better. And you need to use the steps that, we've been discussing in the last 40, 45 minutes. Because if you don't do that, you will always find yourself stuck in survival mode. So let's review as I wrap up. I said, you are meant to do more than survive. You are meant to thrive, right? That's the plan for you. Don't settle for anything less than that in every aspect of your life. Now, the reason why I focus on you is because if we can fix you, we fix the family, we fix the business, we fix everything else, right? So you are meant to thrive. And if And you can thrive if we said you trust God, all right? You're honest about your situation. You're honest with yourself. You're honest with those closest to you. You're honest even with God. And then you invest in yourself, right? Very, very key. And then you must choose a positive life stance. That's how you do it in practical ways. I don't know if you're one that is always negative, but anytime you catch yourself, always try to say, all right, what's the good in this? Instead of what's the worst that can happen, always think what's the best that can happen. Choose a positive lifestyle. Embrace the value of the lessons that you learn. Above all, you must act, make the change. Then you become unstoppable. Then you move from surviving to thriving. Then you become someone everybody wants to wonder and find out, how did she do it? How did he do it? Then you become unstoppable. Hope that's been helpful for you today. If that's been helpful for you today, just give me a quick yes in the chat. Give me a quick yes in the chat. If that's been helpful for you today, like I said to you, I only see awesome. Thank you for that. So I guaranteed you two things at the beginning. I said that you will have what it takes to start right now. So go start right now, right? Don't sit on your laurels. Evaluate yourself. Be honest with yourself. Am I in survival mode? If you are, right, get out of that mode. It's a simple thing, but I didn't say it was easy. What makes it not easy is when you decide not to do anything about it. But here is the second guarantee I gave you. I said, I'll give you two. The second one is this. If you know you're stuck and you need help, all right, you can't do it by yourself. I want to help you. I offer a coaching group where we take a deeper dive into, all of the laws of growth and everything that we talked about today, all right? Let me help you. I have a new group starting October the 17th, I believe. If you can, let me put the slide up. A new group starting October 17th, where I take a group of people. I don't take more than 10 people. So I do have multiple groups, but it's a maximum of 10 in each group. All right. If you need help, please let me help you. This is the last groups that I'm doing for the year. Jump in. Let me help you. Now, when you enroll, I only require two things, just two things. One, that you show up, especially for every session as much as you can. And two, that you take action after every session. That's it. That's all I require for you. All right. If you can do those two things, I can help you. So get on it. Get on it right now. Go to that URL right there, toluariola.com/group coaching. Get on it and let me help you. Because I know that you can't get on. There's some people that you can't get unstuck by yourself. And I want to do that for you. I want to help you. Oh, and by the way, because it's my wife's birthday today, I want to do something to honor her. At checkout, you can go ahead and use that coupon code, right? Use that coupon code BDAY42. Oh, yeah, that's what she turned today. My beautiful wife is celebrating her 42nd birthday today, and I just wanted to use that to honor her. So, but get on it, because that's the way you can get out. All right. Now, for those of you that don't like group coaching, you would rather prefer like a one-on-one coaching where we're talking about your own agenda, I can help you too. However, you have to schedule a discovery call with me to see if we're a good fit. All right. I do that because I can't coach everybody. All right. Even Jesus couldn't help everybody. So I can't do that either. So you must be coachable, all right, for you to be coached. So that's why we do a discovery call for you. So the call helps us figure out if, you're that kind of a person, and I can help you. So you can also just schedule your call with me. You can use that link on your screen right there. And I'll also post it in the chat box in a second. Calendly.com/Toluariola coaching /discovery-call. So I can also help you if you would like one-on-one coaching. Well, thank you all again. I'm going to take some time to answer questions. I think we have about 5-10 minutes. Questions. You can raise your hand. I'll bring you in live, and you can ask your question live, or you can put your question in the Q&A box, or you can put it in the chat. Any way, shape, or form is available. Questions. Let's use the remaining 5-10 minutes to answer questions while I put the stuff, the URL. Any questions? Any questions? My pastor says any question you don't ask, right, can't be answered, right? There are no stupid questions. Questions. All right, let me see. Any questions? So I already put the URL for those that want the group coaching or those that want the one-on-one coaching. Just go ahead, click on that, and I'll be glad to super serve you. Now, while we're thinking about our question, I also want to remind you, right? My yearly conference is coming up, the Elevate Conference 4.0. The fourth installment is going to be amazing this year. But you need to get your tickets. For those of us that haven't registered yet, I believe that from this week, you should be seeing a whole lot more on social media, on our marketing about that. So you can go to myelevateconference.com. Let me put that on the URL too. myelevateconference.com. You can find out more about the conference. You can find out more about who the speakers are. You can find out more about all the good stuff that's going to be happening during the conference. Let me see if I can spell here. myelevateconference.com. And this year is really amazing because we're incorporating some hand-holding workshops, that I've really been trying to do for years. But this year, I'm so glad I'm able to implement it. So go to myelevateconference.com. Also, you get more information about the conference. All right. Do I see any hands asking any questions? I see that. Let me see. Let's see if we have any questions here. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, that's a comment. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Let's see here. Okay. I was told that we couldn't see the links. Okay, let me go ahead and put the links back on there. So here's the link for the group coaching. Here's the link for the discovery call. And here's the link for Elevate Conference. All right. Fantastic. Thank you all so much. I don't see any hands up. I only see people commenting, saying thank you. They've been really encouraged. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'm so grateful to you for being here with me. Every time I get an opportunity to super serve you, I'm always excited because I know that you could have been doing anything else, but you chose to spend this time with me. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone. If today is your first time, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I do this every single month. So next month, we're going to be catching up. It's going to be after the Elevate Conference. So we have amazing things to talk about. And as we go on, even in this webinars, I'm going to be bringing my incredible friends to join us, where we are able to add more value to you and to super serve you. But thank you all once again for spending this time with me. I want to say that you should keep living the empowered life, because that's the only way to live. God bless you guys, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.